Hey everybody, Brian Bauman from Bauman's Farm and Garden, and it's hanging basket time at my house. I spend so much time looking through all the hanging baskets to find the very perfect combo for me, and this year, ta-da, this is it. And I chose this combo because I wanted it to kind of tie into the porch pots that we did a couple videos ago. And if you zoom down here real quick, Jessica, you can see she's coming along. She's looking good. Although I will say, I was inspired by one more thing, and I added it into the pot after the video, and that's this brand new Coleus. Check it out in there. This is Sun Coleus Coral Candy. Candy Coral. It's right around with that. I'll double check with it and put it at the bottom of it. I think it's such a cool variety of Coleus. I wanted to put it in here, but I have the pinks, which were hard for me. We have the Vista Fuchsia in here that's doing well, and some of the other pink plants, things are moving along, things are doing good. So I wanted my hanging baskets to tie into it. There's a couple other things in here that I've wanted to check on and see how they do through the summer. So this is the new Ageratum Monarch Magic, which I love to say Monarch Promise. We have it in the basket combo. I used it in a couple different ones, and I must tell you, I love it in the basket so far. I am finding that it's going to get a little bit tall. We'll kind of do some videos, follow along throughout the summer, as we may need to pinch it back or care for it a little differently than we would petunias or verbena, some of our other typical plants that we have in hanging baskets. But we have the Vista Fuchsia in here, Supertunia Vista Fuchsia. This is Supertunia Ultramarine. And again, it's a hard one for me. But we have Superbena Pink Cashmere. Now this is definitely a lighter pink, but I love how it plays around and works well with everything in here. I also have some light blue lobelia, which I think kind of pulls the blues and the purples and the pinks all together. And yeah, I think it looks really good. Now that we have hanging baskets in place, I wanted to give you some how-tos on how to care for your hanging baskets. There's some things you need to do daily to make sure that your hanging basket is going to be big, beautiful, and gorgeous all summer long. People always ask me, how much do you water? How do I set it up? I do not have a watering system in this area. I prefer, when I have a chance, to install drip irrigation. Now, if you have drip irrigation, it varies widely from one drip to the next on how much water. And what I tell people to do is put their drippers in. I usually like to put more than one in a basket, because in a drip irrigation, if the dripper's in just one area, the roots will pull the water through, but that's a lot of work, especially when it's dry. It takes longer. I put multiple drippers in a basket, seems to work better in order to making sure you get really good water distribution throughout the basket, especially in a larger size basket like this one. This is what we call our city basket. It's in a 10-gallon pot. It's about 16 to 18 inches across. You'll see a lot of baskets referenced by the size of the diameter across the top of the basket. But when you're watering with drip irrigation, you turn your drip on and you let it go. And you wait until that water really starts pouring out the bottom. And I like to make sure that the water is really coming out the bottom, because that gives a chance any of the extra fertilizers or things that you're using that are left over inside your pot can drain out the bottom. And once you do that, then you know, some water systems, it only takes a couple minutes. Others, it may take 10 minutes. So it just depends on your water system and how fast it is going. This particular basket is just good old hand watering for us. And I got my trusty hose here. So when I'm watering this, I don't like to spray and get the whole foliage wet. The more water you get all over the place, the more chances you have for fungal problems. It damages the blossoms. It doesn't look as nice. These plants do not need any water on their foliage in order to look better. No misting down, no nothing. These are just more concerned about the roots. So when I'm using my hose, I want to use just a light stream like this, and I'm going to put it directly right inside the basket, and I'm going to hold it in there until the water starts coming out the bottom. Again, the idea is that I want to flush anything out of there that might be extra, and I want to hold it here until that water really starts coming out. Depends on how dry your basket is. It depends on how big the basket is, how much water it can hold. So it all depends on your own system, but you can see we're starting to get a little bit of water coming out the bottom. But I really want to get that water going before I'm going to stop letting the water out. What you'll see sometimes is that the water will go around the outside And I want to make sure that that water is seeped all the way through the middle and really starts coming out the bottom. And that's how much you should water your hanging basket each and every time. All right. We got the water coming out. I'm going to do this on a larger basket like this. Today is in the 80s. Once a day should be fine for a larger basket every single day. I find that it's best to do this in the morning. Now, life is busy, I get it. We don't always have time. It might be when you get home from work, but in the morning, it allows the foliage and everything to dry out during the day, so you don't end up with as much fungus problems. If you water at night, sometimes the foliage stays a little bit wetter longer, and that can cause more problems. Now, at the end of the day, it's got to get water in here, so you do you, right? Like, get that water in there and make sure it goes. Besides watering, the next step that is super important with hanging baskets is that you are going to fertilize, and you're going to fertilize with the water-soluble fertilizer. Now, you can put in a time-release fertilizer into your basket, and that will help, but it's not enough. These baskets, especially when we're talking about Supertunias, wave petunias, petunias that are going to get 3 to 4 feet long, they need a lot of food, and there's just not enough food in that limited amount of soil that's in the hanging basket. What kind of water-soluble fertilizer do you get? At the farm, we sell this triple 20. Triple 20 is just an all-purpose, good water-soluble fertilizer. I use this on my hanging baskets. I use it throughout my yard, depending on anything that I want to give an extra boost to. Definitely on my pots and planters, and definitely in my hanging baskets. A lot of times, you'll see a lot of the big name fertilizers selling you bloom boosting fertilizer. And the 3 numbers on it, this one is 20, 20, 20. The 3 numbers on it would be something like 10, 25, 10. And that middle number is what they're telling you is going to be your bloom boosting fertilizer. For hanging baskets, these plants that we use in here are bred to bloom. They don't need any more help. That first number is going to feed the foliage. It's going to make sure you have nice and green. That last number is going to help with the roots. So by making sure that you have good foliage, good roots, you're good to go. You do not need bloom boosting fertilizer. Now that's really helpful with some perennials and stuff in the ground, but it's not going to work for your hanging baskets. So a simple triple 20, sometimes I've used 16316. That middle number is almost nothing. I'm more concerned about that first and last number. When you're using organic options, which are great, they're just not as strong. You can tell on this one is a triple 20. A lot of the organic options that you can put into your hanging baskets are about 4 to 5, maybe 3. And you can see you're going to have to do that 3 to 4 times as much in order to get the same amount. Now, when I'm doing this, I get out my trusty plastic jug here because I got lots of hanging baskets, lots of pots. And what I do is I just start filling it with water and try not to get Jessica wet. For our water-soluble fertilizer, it's going to take about 1 teaspoon per gallon of water. So this one is 5 gallons. I'm going to go ahead and put in 5 drops of this. 3, 4, 5. Now, as this is filling up, I kind of take my hose and really make sure that all of that gets mixed in there really good. And we'll fill it all the way to the top. Okay, once we get this all the way filled up to the top, turn our water off. And in this case, when you're using your hanging basket, I don't want too much of it to go out the bottom. So we were talking about watering earlier, about watering until it comes out to the bottom. So if my hanging basket's is pretty dry, it would take most of this in order to fill it up. This one I just watered, so I don't want to put too much in there. You're going to want to do this on a day when you haven't watered. Make sure you really saturate the basket. If it starts running out to the bottom a little bit, no big deal. But you don't want to put so much that it comes running out the bottom. You're just wasting fertilizer that way. At the farm, for our giant hanging baskets, we do it at least 3 times a week. I have no desire to fertilize 3 times a week at home. I have no time, right? I barely have enough time to get them watered. So my house, every Sunday, this is my Sunday morning chore, is to go around and fertilize our hanging baskets at least once a week to put in water-soluble fertilizer. If they're not looking good, they're maybe looking a little yellow, you're not seeing as many blossoms, you might want to bump it up to 2 or 3 times just to give them a little extra boost. Or if I'm having people over, I know to add a little extra fertilizer that week. And then I just take my tub and I follow it around to all of my different pots. I wanted to show you a couple of the plantings I've been working around my yard this year, and I've been inspired, I think, by all the cut flowers and all the fresh flower bouquets. So in all of my plantings this year, I'm working in some plants that I can use as cut flowers that I can pick when people are coming over. And one of the best cut flowers is Zinnias. The variety that I chose for this flower bed is called Zesties. Zesties are not the giant state fair, big, tall varieties, but not the little short varieties either. So I feel like I can still use them as a cut flower, but they're not gonna be so big and bold that I'm gonna have to stake them or hold them up. And in this flower display, I mix them all together. So I've got the purples, the pinks, the oranges, the yellows, all in one. I tried to spread them out because I would be freaking out if they were all in one spot together. And I mixed in some of Proven Winners, Salvia Playing the Blues. Really great variety that's gonna bloom nonstop all summer. And in this display, I am transitioning to getting more and more perennials. A lot of us are putting more perennials in the yard. Perennials are great. In this right here, we've got a couple different Echinaceas coming up right now. This particular variety is Adobe Orange, if I'm remembering correctly on what I did last year. For me, perennials are great, but I really like to mix in some annuals to go with my perennials so I get that non-stop bang all summer long. My Echinaceas are just coming up. It's gonna be another 2 to 3 weeks before they start to bloom. So by putting in some zinnias and some other stuff here, I have instant color now that's gonna carry me all summer long, and I'll still have the perennial base so I don't have to replant everything every year. It's a great way to kind of pack both of them together. And I have some new cut flowers that I wanted to show you that I'm gonna pair with some other perennials in another spot. Oh, this flower bed smells so good. There's a couple different things I have going on in this display, and to me, it's all about maximizing color and excitement all summer long. So early in spring, this is Ambrosia. Ambrosia is like a firecracker with flowers very early. It's been blooming for several weeks now. It's just about finishing up. And the thing that I love about Ambrosia is during the fall, this is like golden rods of color. Really pretty fall color. Really great, very hardy, comes back every year. This is just one plant in here. Look how big and beautiful it is. The thing about this is it doesn't bloom all summer. It's gonna be done blooming and then it'll just be green. So I'm going to plant some annuals right around the front of this here to kind of pair with this just to give me some longer lasting color. And I was talking to you about how I am inspired by some of the cut flowers, and I got my hands on some brand new Snapdragons, and these beauties are gorgeous. Check out the double flowered on it. This is a new variety from Syngenta. They're called Sweet Duets, and I'll have Jessica put up the names on all of these. And this is the rose one. All of them have a nice fragrance to them. When I was trying them out, check out this red one. Big, beautiful flowers on it, double flowers. It's again in that kind of medium range where it's not going to be the real tall Snapdragons I have to stake up. They're going to be much more compact, but still long enough stems that I can use them in cut flower arrangements. When I was researching these and trying them out, I'll kind of lay these out for you here, Jessica, so you can kind of zoom in on all the different colors, because there is a wide range of colors in this series, and they are amazing. It describes them as highly fragrant. That is not the word I would use for them. They do have kind of a sweet aroma to them, but not highly fragrant. I think the colors are fantastic. I think the double flowers are really good. I'm liking the growth habit so far of them in terms of not too big, not too small. We're gonna see how well these go all summer. We do have some extras of these available in the store right now. We have these out. All these colors are available at the store. So it's a new pack. They're not supposed to release till 2026, but that's the beauty of getting your hands on some stuff some early. And we're gonna plant these all up in the front flowers right here. Last but not least, looking around my yard, I wanted to share you some foundation shrubs that I think are really easy to care for, really low maintenance, and look great year round. And that's Nandina. A lot of people will call these shrubs heavenly bamboo. They're not actually bamboo at all. It's a completely different thing. So you do not have to worry about these running around your yard. They stay very much intact, and they come in a really wide range of colors. So like this particular one is called Lemon Lime, and you can see it's just about ready to flower here. So it'll get these white poofs coming up now. The new growth here is this beautiful lime green, and then it fades to a nicer green during the winter time that's not so lime green. And there's other ones. This one is called Obsession. Beautiful kind of pink, rosy new growth color onto it. There is a whole wider range of Nandina that are available. We have lots of them at the farm. They work great for something right as you're coming up your driveway that is going to be easy to care for. They work great in containers. Just a really nice evergreen plant that's going to look good year round. For updates on these plants and a whole bunch more things coming throughout the summer, make sure you follow along, and we'll be taking you all over my house and the farm.